All right, yo. What's going on, folks? It's your boy Stacks. On this episode of Roaches to Wrenches, we're going to talk about how much it cost to fix my Chrysler 300, and I'm going to recap what exactly we did. First of all, if you haven't seen the previous videos, now is the time to go check them out. We got this Chrysler 300. We bought it from the previous owner for $1,400. It had a major engine issue. All right, the valve seat dropped out. If you're not familiar with that issue, again, go and watch the previous video. And as I said before, there are two ways to fix this issue. You can replace the engine, or you can do what I did, which was a lot cheaper. Pop off the cylinder head, pop in a new piston, and go that route. Let's go over what exactly was replaced, and then we can tally up the cost. So, at the beginning, we did a compression test. One cylinder had no compression. So we pulled off the cylinder head and found out what exactly was the case, which is what we already thought was the case, which was a dropped valve seat. Very common issue on the 2006 to 2008 Hemi engines. Piston was destroyed. There was a minor, very minor scarring on the cylinders, on the cylinder walls, which we removed with the cylinder hone. All the specialty tools were rented from the auto parts store. We didn't spend any money on those. We dropped the oil pan so we could access the connecting rod. We popped out the old piston, popped in the new piston and connecting rod assembly. We got a new head gasket from the auto parts store, and we got a replacement cylinder head that was used. We reused the intake manifold. We cleaned it out. We poured gasoline in there, swished it around, poured it out, made sure it was clean, went through it with a magnet. We also reused the cylinder head bolts. I know a lot of y'all are gonna get on me about that in the comments, but I will be making a video about the cylinder head bolts at a future date. I'm gonna tell you why I don't always replace cylinder head bolts. And again, I have been driving this car for several weeks at this point. No issues whatsoever. It's not using coolant. It's not smoking out of the exhaust. There's no head gasket leak. There's nothing. Reusing the cylinder head bolts on this engine was perfectly fine. I knew it would be fine, and I'm going to tell you why it's fine at a future date. Before you guys get on me about that in the comments, which I know some of y'all may anyway, and that's fine. Just wait for that video, but I digress. As of now, I've been daily driving this car for a couple weeks. No issues whatsoever. Check engine light has never come on. No mechanical issues since then. So again, just one quick recap for what we replaced. We replaced the piston and connecting rod assembly, the cylinder head, the head gasket, and that's it. Those are all the things we replaced. Again, the goal for this project was to do everything on the bare minimum. This is Roaches to Wrenches. I didn't want to replace anything I didn't have to. We reused the oil pan gasket. We even reused all the spark plugs. And you guys saw how bad the spark plugs were on that last video. They needed to be replaced, but I didn't replace them. The car runs fine. This car will be getting sold. I'm not keeping this car long term. If the next owner wants to do that, spark plugs are a quick job on this vehicle. They're not hard to get to. They don't have any issues removing them. It might not be making full power, but the engine's running fine. I'm just gonna save myself the expense in that regard. So especially you're talking about 16 spark plugs. I gotta get those OEM. I don't like getting aftermarket plugs. I don't want to do any work that won't raise the value of the vehicle. I do the major work, whether if it's a catastrophic engine failure or bad transmission or whatever. I do that major type of work, and the next owner can do the little stuff. I like to sell them relatively cheap compared to the other vehicles in the class. So yeah, that way the next owner can go take it to a dealership, take it to their mechanic or whatever, and they can do all the little things such as suspension bushings, serpentine belts, things like that. It's easy to go down that slippery slope and tell myself, while I'm in there, I may as well do this, this, and this. I could say, while I'm in there, I may as well take the front engine cover off, do the timing chain, do the oil pump, do this, do that, new lifters, throw in a camshaft, replace all the gaskets. I will tell you from experience, it doesn't pay off. You will get a buyer. If you can show them the proof that you did all those things, you may find a buyer who will appreciate that. But I will tell you from experience, you can also ask other car dealers. Usually when you're selling a car, people usually just care that it looks good, it runs good, it drives good, has decent miles, has decent lower miles. That's about it. With that all being said, let's break down the prices. And these are all rough estimates. I don't have the exact dollar amount. We bought the replacement cylinder head used for $100. We bought the replacement head gasket from the auto parts store for about $50 after taxes. We got the piston and connecting rod assembly for about $35 after taxes from the junkyard. We also had fuel expenses driving all over town getting stuff. Let's just say, I don't know what exact dollar amount, so I guess when we finish adding it up, I'm just gonna round it up to the next 100, if that makes sense. So y'all will see what I mean when we get there. We also had miscellaneous costs such as fluids. We got oil, we got coolant, things like brake clean, WD-40. Those will have to be factored into the cost as well. So in total, just to fix the engine, we spent about $300, you guys. Only $300 to get this car going from having major engine damage, a dropped valve seat, to having it running again. That was my plan going into it. Get this thing going as cheaply as possible, and that's exactly what we did. Yeah, that's it, about $300, man. I'm super stoked to have this car, a running and driving Chrysler 300, for as cheap as I'm in it for right now. Again, as I said before, this is a car I've wanted for several years, and it's in really good shape. I'm impressed with it. It was what I've wanted. I've looked at a lot of these in the past, and a lot of them were just too rough. This is the only one I could find that was in good shape. It doesn't have a single speck of rust on it. It makes good power. I still have a few little things here and there to take care of, but as of now, I'm just grateful to have this car. But anyway, as always, I'm grinding. I hope you all are doing the same. Y'all stay strong, stay healthy, and stay inspired. I'm out. God bless.